Okay, we're ready to reassemble the locomotive, but we're going to do another check to make sure all our electrical is right, and I have the transformer turned on, and by touching each side we have power, and one side picks up one current from one set of wheels, the other side picks up the current from the other set of wheels, and we have the same result by touching the wires that connect the brushes. So that part is all ready to go. I'm just going to put a little piece of electrical tape over where the brushes make contact. It looks like our old springs, our recycled springs, kind of want to work out. So maybe this will just hold them in place. And we'll just put this on there. And that'll cover that up like that, and stick it on there like that, and double check that everything still works. Looks good. Turn that off. Okay, now the next thing I had to do was I had to quarter these wheels, and the reason was because these plastic pieces had a little crack in them. The wheels had spun in there, and they call it quartering, and that is where one side, for instance A side, is 1/4 off from the B side as far as where the rod is attached to the wheel. And to make this easier, I took a marker pen and I marked the location of each of these holders on one side, and I marked the location on the other side, and then I lined up one side, so each one, while it was in place, each one was straight up and down, and then I put in the other side, and I marked them, had them marked, and I lined them up so each one was pointing straight parallel to the ground. And I pressed them together, and I double checked about 4 times, and then I super glued it. And so one wheel side is 1/4 off of the other wheel side, or 90 degrees. So everything is ready to go. They're only going to fit in properly, you know. That's just the way, that's just mathematics. If you have them lined up right, if you have one lined up right and you have each one exactly the same, it can only go one way. Now make sure that the gear wheel goes over the gear, and then your next wheel set is going to slide right in the slot, and so forth. The next wheel set, kind of jiggle it back and forth until it goes right in the slot. And that one, there's actually a spring underneath there, so if something doesn't seem right, get out your sandpaper, and lightly, it's possible, a little bit of glue got on the axle there. So there we go, and then we got all 4 in place, and the gears were lubricated beforehand. These little holders slide in their little slots right on each side, and we're ready to go. And you can see these are 1/4 off. Here we go, like that, and then on this side like that. And now this is kind of the tricky part, or the part that I have the most difficulty with, and that is putting this on. And I'm going to use this one, because this one I had modified, and I put new little railings on, and I put a KD coupler on, and used some JB weld here and there, but I want to do some more work on this one, so I'll just use this practice one here. And this part here just has to be slid on So the bottom rod goes in there, the middle flat piece goes in the middle slot, and the top rod goes in the top. And this takes some finesse to get this thing in right, and you'll see that you can kind of get one side in, and then you got to kind of go over and work on the other side, and eventually that bottom rod, you got to get that in the right place. The bottom rod goes in, the middle piece goes in the slot, and lastly the top little rod goes in there, and everything's got to be just perfect on this. No, it went in really easy that time. I can't believe it. So there we got that in place. And next, this piece goes on. Make sure if it's got the insulated one side, wheel side, that's the pickup. Make sure that's correct. And go ahead and slide this back on, and get your wheels lined up so all the little brakes go in the right spot, and just slide it right down just like that. Got that on. And then there's two different sizes here of these screws. There's very little difference, but there's the big size, and there's the small size. The small size holds on the engine onto the frame. Go ahead and get your screws in there, and the larger size we're using here, and there's the two. It's a nice screwdriver with a magnetic feature, so get that on there, get that on there, get it screwed on. That's all on. The bottom's on. That's all ready to go. Okay,